Fire, fire, fire.
What is this? My drawings might be ugly, but at least I don't use AI. Readers added context. Yeah, she uses AI. Wait, that's actually so fucked. Virtue signaling and then getting caught like that. I don't know. I have a big pet peeve. There are a lot of people posting in my real art tag and saying that it's not AI. That's what irks me. I'm like, why don't you just be straight up? Like, I don't give a fuck ultimately. Like, I can't do anything about it, but at least don't try and make it like you actually drew it, bro. Yo, Faith with the red, I appreciate it. It was sad to see because their art was actually good. I'm gonna blackpill you guys for a second here. I actually truly believe that a lot of popular artists are using AI. You just can't tell. Yeah. They at least used to be really, really good at drawing, but they wanted to cut corners and they want to save time. Yeah. I know, this might be a massive black pill, and they always say, like, oh, fuck AI, but that's because the mass consensus is of the community is that they would get backlash. No.
Human ingenuity is what allowed our species to overcome our biggest challenges through creativity and resourcefulness. It's what allowed our very distant ancestors to make the discovery of fire, and it's what most recently gave us access to the forbidden skies, allowing us to fly. And while throughout history there are many different examples of these incredible discoveries, it is in my humble opinion that our best discovery yet is probably pastries. That's right, whether that be a pain au chocolat, croissant, beignet.
He's French. Of course you would say that.
Eclair, you name it, there are very few things that can compare. And while France is easily the best place in the world to get any type of pastry, its residents, more specifically over the last few years, would have to come face to face with this industry's biggest, darkest secret: industrial pastries, more notably the croissant. Now look, this was a big deal. When you're going to a bakery, the expectation is that you'd be receiving something made in-house in the morning, fresh, delivered right into your hands. These bakeries, though, were selling these pre-frozen pastries under the guise of them being fresh without giving any indication or disclaimer that they're pre-frozen. Essentially,
see that, and also probably for massive markup, because it's like you're paying for the labor and they're lying to you. See, that's where I think it's fucked up. I have nothing against something that like cuts corners, but it's not supposed to be like fucking, you're not supposed to cut corners on the fucking price either. You're not gonna fucking upsell me this shit.
Scamming you. I mean, this was scandalous. It even led to the creation of a new label that certifies that, hey, this bakery actually does everything by hand. We don't use frozen products. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't take a genius to understand this problem. Why would I pay the same exact price, sometimes even more, for something that is pre-frozen when I could just use that same money to buy something made fresh in the morning? For the consumer, this didn't make any damn sense.
The industrial croissant is still better than the homemade ones in 90% of the world? I don't think so. I think there's people who can bake like insane croissants. I do think that frozen products are genuinely not as good as fresh ones. Like, just from a molecular standpoint, freezing something, obviously it's for convenience, but it does break down the molecular structure of the food. Yeah, you form ice crystals in the food itself. Yeah, I don't think so.
That's simple to understand, right? Well, apparently,
you're sacrificing
to some
convenience
artists
for
these
quality.
days, this concept
for
cannot get through their thick skulls for some reason. And when I say artists, I'm talking specifically about Gami, an artist that started her activity 6 years ago and was well known in the VTuber community, all while being someone who very staunchly and publicly constantly...
She wouldn't be getting so much backlash if she didn't have receipts of her saying this shit. Yep.
Opposed AI usage in art, calling out anyone who dared to use AI with their art or who faked the fact that they actually drew it. In fact, she would go even further and would draw an entire meme saying, maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI. And guess what? This post would go absolutely viral, but not because of the meme itself. It would go viral because of the very humiliating community note that would be attached to it. destroying any ounce of her reputation in one day. And that's without mentioning the 2 Google Docs that were written about her. Now look, I've made a lot of videos about people getting community noted on Twitter, okay? But this right here might be the most merciless one yet. This is why I figured we had to talk about it. Before we step into this, just know that you can use the code MUJIN for 10% off anything on the gamersubs.gg website. And now, without further ado, let's do this. Alright, so let's get one thing straight. Tracing has been a problem in the art community for many years, even before ChatGPT and other AI tools came out.
Yeah.
The art community consensus about tracing was that it was okay if you were trying to learn, but immoral if you were trying to make it seem like it was your own work. And we didn't really need AI for that to be a problem.
Some people also counter argue that tracing is how you learn habits of movement in good artwork. Yeah, like I could see why people get pissed, but yeah, ultimately tracing is bad if you claim it as your own.
In fact,
of course,
one could go back
you're
as
making
recently
money off
as
of it
November
too.
9th, 2025, when Hisashi Eguchi, one of the most well-renowned artists in Japan, would be exposed as having traced for, well, his entire fucking career. This guy's drawings were top of the game. You'd find them in exhibitions, you'd have companies hiring him to make posters out of them, and yet it turned out that the drawing he had made for the True Line Culture Festival in 2025 was nothing more than him taking the picture of a woman on social media and just tracing over it. Quickly afterwards, people would start analyzing his past work, and it would turn out to not be an isolated incident. The guy has been doing this for his entire career, taking pictures all over the internet or by photographers and just claiming that it was something that came from his own head. This is very significant because even before the widespread use of AI, I could have very easily taken any of these images that he had taken, put them through some drawing filter, and made it seem like I drew it myself, okay? The inherent problem with tracing, or hell, you can call it just cheating, is that it's very easily detectable if it's done by an amateur, but very hard to prove if it's done by someone who actually knows how to draw.
You know, it's funny because it's like he is tracing, but he made content out of it. You could argue that like photoshopping isn't like, is it a stock image or did he straight up trace it? Because there's like merit to tracing when you want to have like a good reference and stuff. Yeah, like stock photos, they make millions of dollars every year off of selling it to people so that they can Photoshop or like trace over it.
This has always been the case. And while we could, to a certain extent, cross-reference images that were traced before AI, that is no longer the case because just about anyone can just generate any image they want.
True.
And it would be a unique image, one that doesn't exist anywhere else. So even if someone does trace, you can't prove it by cross-referencing their illustration to the original image. You have to prove it in other ways, and that typically requires a lot of effort, most notably, well, a Google Doc. This is where Gami comes in. An artist that has been active for the last 6 years and also happens to stream as a VTuber. She grew her following like, well, most artists would, drawing well-known VTubers and content creators, as well as participating in viral art trends. This would lead her to get followed by many of these VTubers that she drew, okay? Some of them very big. And as an artist, if you get followed by some of these top guys, well, you get legitimized. People look at you and think, oh, well, if this person follows them, then they must be an actual real artist that does work on time, right? Gami would of course understand this, which would then lead her to open up her commissions. This is where VGen comes in.
Man, I'm not gonna say it, man. I've had wonderful artists, and I've also had people that screwed me over for 6 months, basically not doing the bare minimum. I don't know, man.
Website that gained
they give such a bad name to people who are actually really good at art.
Exists for just about anyone. What makes it unique is that it doesn't support any sort of AI usage, doesn't sell user data, and doesn't display ads. It also happens to be very exclusive. In order to create an account to sell things on the platform, you need a code. That referral code can only be acquired in one of 6 different ways. But getting a code is only the first hurdle. After you actually create your account, you have to go through multiple criteria in order to get verified by an actual real human being that will make sure that you are legit.
Okay,
and guess who had an account on VGen? Gami. She'd be charging up to $60 for a basic colored sketch, $30 for a Twitch emote, and $150 for a square-sized image meant to be used as a profile picture on social media. These prices just so happen to be industry standard, okay? There's nothing crazy about them. Some people charge less, some people charge more. But when you pay $150 for a profile picture, you're expecting to, you know, get something made by a human being. That was what people thought they were getting. In fact, on January 28th, 2026, Gami would make sure to push this idea to her audience and anyone who might see this post on Twitter. She'd post this very simple meme saying, maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI. One of the replies to her post would be some really terrible AI slop. She'd make sure to reply to it with vomiting emojis. And here's the deal,
Ironic.
right? This post for like almost...
I do think that like virtue signaling this hard, I don't know, man. I always have to second guess how fake people are at this rate, at this point in time in social media, with how easily accessible AI is. I don't know, man. I don't trust every artist. I do think there's a lot of artists that are hiding it and biding their time until it's socially fucking acceptable.
more than 20 days, would have no community note. Gami would go on to continue posting art and living her life. She could have never expected that on February 18th, 2026, the user Ruru would quote tweet that meme she made about how she didn't use AI and would say, "Yeah, about that. Gami has been using AI in her workflow and selling commissions. Read." Linking a Google Doc.
Google
It will be around
Docky!
16 pages long. And I have to say, okay, look, I love these artist dramas because this Google Doc is, of course, very well formatted, as you would expect. It would start off with, disclaimer. Do not send hate to Gami. This is merely for informing potential supporters and commissioners of the dishonesty about her workflow, including generative AI. This
That's
document
fair.
and Gami's accounts contain suggestive/NSFW content. Great, I'm gonna have a lot of fun
Ooh.
censoring this video. So look,
Yippee.
this document mentions something very important in the beginning. The reason why this is such a big deal is because this person, Gami, was charging money while using AI. This is very dishonest. When you're paying an artist money, you're hiring them for their talent, not for what some generative machine can make out of like a million convoluted drawings.
If you're going to sell AI art, at least disclose to the user. I have been screwed over by people who act like they draw this, everything, and then the product that comes out isn't what I wanted. And then when I asked them, like, hey, can you fix this? They don't fix it. And then I found out that they weren't, like, they were using AI. I didn't catch on until it was too late, and I was really bummed out about it. This happened like a year ago. Imagine buying AI art. Okay, well, let's just hypothetically say, like, it's your fucking money. You can do what you want. But to me, what hurt the most is that they were selling it as like, oh, I hand paint this and I love this and I love my art and stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, I'll buy a piece. I never posted or anything because I was so bummed out because it's 250 fucking euros that they fleeced me out of. And I'm like, that's not even equivalent to like what I think would be worth it, even if I did enjoy AI art. Like, that was just not worth the money.
That it stole off the internet. The next part here would be introduction. First things first.
Yeah, I just
please
deleted
read
it and
knowing
took the
Gami
loss.
herself has admitted to using AI in her workflow. Back in December 30th, 2024, someone would DM her, "Gami, are you using AI as reference for your art?" To which she would reply, "I do sometimes, yes, but I draw them again with my own two hands, lol. I don't like taking them as literal references." Okay,
The other difficult thing is that with Pinterest and Google, with how oversaturated, for example, like references are, sometimes it's really, really hard to tell if something is AI until it's too late as well. Yeah, AI has gotten so good and it's become so integrated into like Google Images or like references. You can fucking find something that's a really good reference and then realize later on that it's AI, or not know at all.
cool, I guess we're done. I mean, why is there 17 pages here? This
Yeah.
is it. I mean, what else do you want? Well, I guess we'll find out. The document continues, "Now with this in mind, I will show you why I think she wasn't only using references here and there."
Filter by date while searching. Okay, so then anybody else who's trying to like fucking post or make recent posts just gets fucked, and they're not allowed to have their images viewed because it might be AI. Yeah, you're screwing everyone. I don't think that's the solution either.
But
Yeah, you can't do that.
one-to-one referencing or possibly tracing for a lot of her viral artworks. And also that she sells commissions using AI without disclosing it to this day. I will document her dated posts and artworks
yeah.
as well as conversations with her. This is where we get to the next section titled Documentation. Gami joined my Discord server around the start of October 2025. Shortly after, some of my members messaged me privately to warn me about her AI usage and her past drama, since I don't allow Gen AI in my server. I didn't want to assume things, so I took a good look at Gami's artworks and then decided it was best to ask her directly than to jump to conclusions. The messages are in Turkish, but you will have translations. Translations are in purple. Some parts are blurred due to privacy of third parties and to not bring back past drama that has already been settled. Alright, so here we can see Ruru asking in Turkish, 3 things were brought up to me, and the people who brought them up will remain anonymous to avoid creating any drama. I think they mentioned these issues because they became worried when they saw that you joined my server and they felt the need to warn me. So the first two issues are blurred. I guess they have nothing to do with this drama. And then the third one is the last issue is the claim that you are tracing using AI. Of course, there's no proof of that, and proving it is almost impossible these days. It's because both Clip Studio and Procreate have a feature to hide the reference layer when speed painting. I looked at your drawings a bit. Even though we follow each other, I'd never actually stalked your drawings before, and I personally found a few of your drawings suspicious, which is why I wanted to ask you. If you want, I can show you the reasons for my suspicions through the drawings, and we can discuss it in more detail. This is when Gami would reply with, the AI tracing issue also arose because I was heavily referencing. I'm constantly sharing how I draw in the process anyway. I stopped referencing heavily quite a while ago. The document would continue, since she claimed she stopped heavily referencing quite a while ago, I showed her some of her recent illustrations that I found suspicious. So in this drawing, we can see some sort of a puppy girl laying down on the bed, and the feet look very oddly suspicious, as if made by AI.
See, that's where I have to like be like, but hold on a minute, you could, that's the fucking difficulty of spotting AI. Some people fucking suck at drawing feet and hands. Again, benefit of the doubt. I try to give people credit where credit's due. She could just suck at fucking drawing feet. I need more evidence, and there's still another 30 minutes of the video. Let's just see. Yeah.
Who also felt the need to mention that even to this day, this drawing remains the banner of her Patreon, right? And I mean, seriously, like, these feet look very AI, like very suspicious.
I don't think so, but I mean, whatever.
Rue would then say she deleted this art post after this conversation, but still uses it as her banner on Patreon. I raised my concerns about how her anatomy knowledge and coloring skills didn't match. Some parts, like feet and hands, are drawn messily despite the rest having pretty good anatomy. This is common with AI tracers/users. Her art skills also suddenly spiked after some point. This led me to believe these art pieces weren't only referenced, but one-to-one or traced. So on the left, we can see a drawing made by Gami on September 2024. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's decent. It's nothing like incredible, right? It's not something that will belong in a gallery anytime soon, but it is what it is. However, 3 months later, on December 2024, she would make a fan art of Yaklesh, a well-known artist and VTuber. And here we can truly see the incredible difference. This is progress that usually takes place over years. And
yeah, that is true. Yeah, you can tell.
There she was, just, you know, making it look easy.
The coloring is also very different as well.
As if she just learned everything in 3 months. We also see another example of a drawing that looks really good, but...
you know what the dead giveaway is the fucking coloring. Coloring doesn't get that good for years. Anatomy, like, I feel like anatomy is something that can be easily faux accelerated through reference photos and putting reference photos over your hands and feet and stuff, and using not tracing directly, but like showing, like, I don't know how to explain it without actually doing it, but like you can superimpose hands and feet into a drawing and be decently good at it.
Fingers are just weird. Something that AI infamously does all the damn time. The document then continues.
And also the other thing that's a dead giveaway, she didn't used to fucking put highlights in her, on the titties and the clothing. And in this one, she all of a sudden starts doing it.
Infamously does all the damn time. And then the hair. The document then continues.
Again, if this was like maybe like even a year or two of just nonstop drawing, I could totally understand like how she got to that. But that's within what, like 3 months?
Artists will probably understand that the drawing above, now deleted, has pretty good anatomy overall, yet the same level of skill doesn't apply to the hand. This issue is common in her drawings. She also came to my server a couple times to share her screen while drawing to prove herself, but she never sketched something from scratch. It was always something that was already drawn and halfway colored. She then sent me a speed paint as proof, but the speed paint didn't have a sketch and she drew things mostly without guidelines. For example, drawing the lines for the legs without a guide and other similar things. It was not very convincing, as you can just hide the reference layer and pretend like you drew it. So that's another thing with tracers, right? The idea that they just draw things out of thin air, when even some of the best artists in the world will still use reference layers. They don't immediately just draw a face and eyes like it's nothing. No, they'll actually take the time to reference where everything will be and then do that. I then showed her art on the right. God damn, I gotta censor that. Saying drawing something like this requires a lot of skill, and people who draw in color like she did on the left cannot draw like the right picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's completely different.
Two at the same time. These two drawings are a few months apart despite there being a huge skill gap. So again, the same thing we saw in 2024, we're seeing again in 2025. In August, she would draw something that clearly has bad anatomy, right, if we're talking about the elbow and the hand, as well as amateur-like coloring compared to the one on
It's
her
still
right.
a really good, don't get me wrong, by the way, this is still a really good drawing. The one that where it seems like she's legit.
Just a few months
I
later,
think this is cute.
and it looks insane. This is what you get after like drawing for 10 years, man. It's wild. And it's a shame that you can't really fully see it. Sorry, it's YouTube, not me. She then kept insisting that she knows how to draw, arguing she has traditional art she can show. And here we can see yet another conversation in Turkish between Ruru and Gami taking place in October 2025 after Gami had posted that very interesting drawing that I had to censor. Ruru would say, I repeat, this isn't about not being able to draw. That's why it's harder to distinguish when artists use it. But for example, when we go back in your gallery, there aren't any anatomy drawings like this or close to it. It's as if you suddenly drew it so well, especially if you go back to before the year AI became widespread, the drawings look quite different. It might be one of the drawings you heavily referenced, as you said, it might be referenced from AI, to which Gami would say, yes, I'm referencing AI. The document would continue, here she admits to referencing AI for her work again. She doesn't disclose this on her VGen or any of her socials. It's well known that using AI in any way isn't accepted by VGen. She also sells commissions there, meaning she has been and still is selling AI-assisted artwork without disclosing it. So far, she had admitted to using AI for references. I asked to see the references she used to check for tracing. Here we can see Ruru saying, can I see the reference used for this image? Gami would reply with, I don't save the photos, Ruru, sad face. To which Ruru would say, using a one-to-one reference isn't good either because it's not much different from tracing. To which Gami would say, I realized that too. After that, I completely removed that incident, which is referencing, from my life. Now I just pose in my head and use 3D models. Ruru would then say, it looks like you're regretting using heavy references. Gami would say, no, seriously, being called AI really hurt my pride. Ruru says, if you take a one-to-one reference from AI, it's perfectly normal for people to say that it looks like AI because it becomes AI indirectly. That's when Gami would say, I never thought of it that way because I drew it myself, but you're right. The document—
I want to know how old she is. Because, like, I feel like I remember when I was a kid and I remember people, like, fucking tracing and shit on DeviantArt and stuff. And I remember some of them, like, got called out and then they just started drawing, like, basically just by themselves and nothing ever happened to them. Like, young, 20 plus, like 20. I don't know. I can forgive a kid for doing it because it's like they're dumb and they don't know any better. But like when you're 20, I feel like there's no excuse.
Would continue
you need to know better. You're an adult. You've been an adult for a bit.
She says she thought because she redrew the AI pictures, it still meant it was her own art. Despite all that, it looked like she regretted using AI in her workflow. But even after saying she stopped and being associated with AI hurt her pride, she still had drawings that were AI assisted posted on her socials like Twitter, VGen, and Patreon, of course undisclosed. I felt like she wasn't being honest. This is where we see their Discord conversation continuing, with Ruru asking, but if this situation upsets you and bothers you so much, why are these drawings still on your page? People who see them can just dismiss them as AI. Gami would reply to this saying, I don't usually have a habit of deleting posts. Sad face. I generally post them and then forget they exist. But you're right, it would be good if I deleted them. This is when Ruru would link one of her arts and say, and for example, even though you said you stopped taking heavy references, a post of yours from May 2025. The no-name fan art looks like it's referenced. Unless you decided to stop using AI 2 to 3 months ago or so, this post makes your claim about you quitting using AI not convincing, because you posted the AI referenced art for personal promotion. Gami would reply and say, I talked to No Name about the situation too, I explained myself, I also apologized if it looked that way. Ruru would specify in the document in parentheses, she did not apologize, confirmed with No Name. Gami would then say, and yes, I quit about 2 months ago, to which Ruru in the document in parentheses would say, which means she says she quit using AI in August 2025. Gami
so basically she said one thing
saying,
and did
I understand
another.
how it
Got
looks,
it.
or remove the images I heavily referenced. I don't want to look like an artist who uses AI. The document continues and says she then went to her profile and deleted some of her artwork on her Twitter, but she did not delete any from her VGen and Patreon, which should be prioritary since it's where clients look. So here you go. Under pressure, she decided to delete the very AI-inspired artworks from her Twitter, but not from the platforms where people pay her money to draw. So essentially, she did nothing to fix the situation. So Ruru in the document would continue with, she said she stopped. So why did I make this document? I wanted to trust her, so I let this matter go for a while, hoping for a good change. But recently I came across some of her posts on my Twitter feed and wanted to check. I saw that her VGen still had verified commissions that had AI involved in the workflow in her portfolio, and she posted suspicious art again on her socials. She said she regretted using AI and did delete some of her most recent AI assisted works from Twitter/X. She said she stopped in August 2025. But to this day, she still uses AI on some of her commissions in her VGen portfolio and still posts on her alt. She's also running a Patreon where she shares her NSFW art, which is also AI assisted. This is one of her most recent YCH commissions on VGen, September 19th, 2025. This was created long before August and has the same skill gap as the examples above, so I'm positive this is AI assisted. She deleted this YCH offer on VGen, yet still does commissions with this YCH to this day. So listen, just if you're curious, YCH
Oh, okay, he's gonna explain
your
it.
character here, so they're custom commissions. One offer she had on her page was YCH.
They basically put out a template and then you can buy it off of them essentially, and then you get the character that you want in the position that she offers. Say like it's a character like it's a blank model kissing another character, and you can offer to pay like $100 to basically have it in the same position but be characters that you want. For those that don't get it.
So your character here with your character trying to touch their elbows. And you know, if someone with big boobs tries to touch their elbows, yeah, I think you get the point. This is why it's sensitive content.
Yeah.
So here we'd see 3 different YCH arts, okay? I have to definitely censor that nipple, okay? I'm saying this just to remind myself when I edit. But overall, the whole point is that all 3 of these art pieces were done after August 2025, and they're very heavily AI inspired. Oh my god, I actually know this VTuber. This is Alien Mixture, man. The document continues. She was posting previews to gather her audience on Patreon. You can see this also doesn't look like her real art, so most likely AI assisted. So here we can see her posting on Twitter this sketch, right? 1 hour sketch, by the way. Saying, remove the pasties on Patreon. So if you go subscribe to her Patreon, you'll get to see this art fully nude. This was the appeal. And it's still up on her Patreon to this day.
Yeah, it makes money. It's a lot of money.
The document would continue. She also posted that she at least doesn't use AI, with frequently posted anti-AI content as well. So here we can see the meme she made about how she doesn't use AI even though she makes ugly drawings. And we can see multiple different tweets she made targeting AI users, calling them out and saying things like, an artist with a
I'm telling you, if the climate was different, like, she wouldn't fucking do this. It's because it gets updates.
I can notice you tracing over AI. Just a heads up. If you can normally draw, why are you tracing AI? You look like a sore loser. This is AI and the artist is lying. Do not be deceived. Unless they show an actual time lapse, I'm not stupid and your sketch is not a sketch. Always the AI sloppers. Even including a drawing of her character with the shirt saying, fuck AI. The document would then say, she made this time-lapse post while still using AI in her workflow. She claimed to quit AI during August 2025, but this was posted on June 17th. Fuck AI, but still use it? So here we can see a 15-second time-lapse of this drawing with her character saying, fuck AI on the shirt. And I mean, it's very, very clear here, right? That she's just drawing as if she's tracing. There's no reference whatsoever. It's like she's a genius that knows exactly where to place the...
That takes way, way, way more practice than a couple of years to draw like that. I know mangakas can do that, but they've been drawing for literally like 10, 15 years.
Eyes, the mouth, everything without making a single mistake, right? Without any hint that this is actually a real drawing, as if she's completely tracing an invisible...
Some people do that though. Yes, and they have to be exceptional or they have to have a lot of experience. She's 20 years old and she's been doing this for like what? 2, 3 years? 4 years? 5?
Layer here. Again, I really have to show you what an actual real time lapse looks like, okay? I already used this example before in another video and I'll do it again, all right? It's this drawing right here and this is its time lapse. So as you can see,
and they also fix the mouth and they fix the position of the body, like...
It's a very messy process, right? Nothing is
They're
set in
enlarging the head because it looks, the perspective is a little bit wonky.
Down until the very, very end. Things are constantly moving, getting scaled, getting cut. This is what a real time-lapse looks like. And with Gami's time-lapse, we're not seeing that at all. A day before posting that very interesting time-lapse on June 16th, she'd post some, let's just say a cat girl sucking on something, right, on her alt account where she posted NSFW.
Excuse
and someone
me?
would just straight up reply and say, this is AI made, don't call it art. The document would say, some people could already recognize the AI and call her out sometimes. This is how my Discord members knew because the Turkish community is small. Word spreads fast about dramas like this. She was already known to use AI in the Turkish community. This is when we get to the next section. I will now show the DM shown in the document's introduction. This is when I reached out to No Name. Gami had told me that she had apologized to No Name about the fan art she did for her that looked like AI. Here are her DMs with No Name. The character she was drawing has very, in all caps, big boobs, like F-cup big. She didn't seem inclined to change her sketch, using a weird excuse that doesn't make sense, possibly because—
Oh my god. That's how I fucking knew I was getting fleeced. I was so upset because it's like, again, I don't want to get into detail and I didn't want to make a call out post. It was just so fucking cringe to me because it was someone that was way smaller than me and I didn't want to like make a big deal out of it since people could also misconstrue it as me bullying. But I was ultimately just pissed that they took my money and they didn't even give me what I wanted. The biggest red flag for me, which I should have known from the fucking start, is that when I asked them to change something, they were like, okay, and then they just didn't change anything, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what do you didn't do anything that I asked. They're like, oh, sorry, I don't know, we're running out of, like, time to, like, I've been working on this for too long, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm your client, I paid this much money. It doesn't even matter how much money it was, but, like, at the end of the day, I was so pissed, and I'm still pissed thinking about it.
The reference she's using had small breasts. No Name noticed how Gami's art quality didn't match her previous art and how she wasn't willing to do changes like boob size.
Yeah.
These red flags
like the most basic thing, like, can you move the hand a little bit to the left? I'm not asking you to change something drastic.
No Name to confront Gami, which then resulted in Gami admitting AI usage. This fan art was posted on the 29th of December 2024, now deleted. So even before the confrontation, right? This was December 27th, 2024. Gami would send a sketch to No Name.
That was 2 years
and
ago,
No Name
damn.
would say, oh, Gami, what is your secret? How are you speeding like that? But booba should be bigger. 3 days later, No Name would realize that, wait a second, this actually looks way better than Gami's usual drawings and would ask the question, Gami, are you using AI as reference for your art? After Gami would admit that, No Name would say, make sure to use different references as well, otherwise you can accidentally train yourself doing the same mistakes AI does, LMAO, to which Gami would say, I would rather slip on ice than do AI mistakes on my own human-made art. I would never, LMAO. No Name was not informed until they asked. There isn't an apology as Gami claimed either. No Name does not support AI and states it publicly, so Gami made fan arts using AI for No Name, knowing they're against it. That's why No Name asked if Gami was using AI, since they also found Gami's art suspicious and wanted to check with her. All the artwork that was done for No Name is now deleted from Gami's profile.
Ooh.
So look, so far, this already looks pretty damn bad for Gami, alright? But this next section that we're about to look at is titled Artwork Comparison, and I think you can kind of tell what we're about to get into here. This is where the document takes an in-depth look at showing us what her art used to look like before AI and how much it differed after AI. I need to censor that nipple again, just saying that for editing purposes. I cannot forget this.
Nippy!
Anyway, this section would start with why I think Gami isn't only referencing, but referencing one-to-one or possibly tracing to this day.
Yep.
We get 3 reasons. The first one would be her art skills without using AI are vastly different from AI-assisted ones. The second one, she doesn't have any proper art videos showing her sketch phase, and her streams usually start from already half-done art. And the third reason, she doesn't show any of the images she says she's referencing from, so it's likely traced or one-to-one referenced. So here we can see that even after starting to reference art, she would still attempt—
her coloring completely changed. It's kind of crazy if you put them side by side, especially in a month. I can see how it would have changed over a year. You can fucking put your foot down and be like, okay, I need to get really good at, you know, fucking lighting or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter what it is. I can see that happening, but like a month, really?
To make
like
her
she
own
made
art,
it really
right?
obvious, to be honest with you.
With the AI-assisted posts, but even then they were very noticeable, right? It's not like they just blended in effortlessly. Here's a drawing from November 19th, 2025, in which you can see a clear gap in skill compared to the one posted on December 1st, 2025, as if it was—
I actually low-key kind of like this one way more. I don't know why. Maybe it's like the human perspective or something.
Was 2 different
like the
people.
mistakes look
we already
organic.
saw the second example with fan art for Yoklash, but there will be way more examples here. I think the biggest difference here are the complex poses. She has a basic understanding of anatomy, but not complex enough to be able to draw something like this effortlessly. This is, of course, without us mentioning the incredible shading, right? The rendering here.
Yeah,
It is
that's what I'm
usually only
saying.
seen with people who have been doing this for a very long time. What's even worse here is this comparison of these two drawings, which
Is
were
that
both
Scoo?
commissions on VGen. Okay,
Oh
both of
my
these
God.
were paid for. The
And that's literally a month apart. Are we trolling?
first one, made in December 2024,
That's cute too.
looks to be somewhat her art style. It is a
Yeah.
fairly simple drawing. The second one, though, made only 2 months afterwards, could have been AI assisted, most notably with the posing and the rendering, because it's not as flat as the first drawing. But worst of all, in all of this is her deleted artworks. The document would say, after saying she was going to delete her heavy reference from AI artworks, she deleted these art pieces from her Twitter. And yeah, if you're watching this with your own 2 eyes and not doing chores right now, you can very clearly see
Yeah.
the massive, staggering difference between this kind of art style and the ones we just saw above that involved her using her actual own 2 hands without referencing AI. And also bear in mind, according
Or
to the
very
document, this
minimal
first
help
image
from
that we
AI.
already saw earlier with the fucked up fingers was a paid commission. Someone paid money for this. Someone paid money for Gami to generate an art piece using AI. This is when we get to the conclusion.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
I am positive that Gami still uses AI in her workflow, despite saying she regrets it and that she quit in August 2025. As you can see the document, she was still posting AI-assisted commission work on December 1st, 2025. I think the customers and her followers deserve to have transparency on her workflow. Not everyone wants to buy AI art or AI-assisted art. I hope this becomes an opportunity for her to finally come clean and draw without using AI. Or if she continues using it, at least disclose it in her profiles and stop her activities on VGen where people come to buy human-made art. To Gami, I was quite happy to have a Turkish artist friend and I really wanted to believe you. Since the Turkish art community is already constantly in chaos, it felt really
Well, it's
nice to
also
have
really
someone to
niche,
talk to.
too.
But as time passed by, I realized you weren't being honest with me or with yourself. I'm normally not a person who writes docs like these, but I felt secondhand responsibility about this since I'm also Turkish, from the same community. I really hope you can come clean. That's right. You can do anything you want in your life, guys, but never mess with a Turkish person's sense of identity and national pride. Otherwise, you're going to have a Google Doc written about you.
I
In any
think it
case,
goes for
this
everyone,
document
to be
made
honest.
things clear. Gami was not the person she was claiming that she actually was. She was very clearly using AI to assist in her work and sometimes tracing it one-to-one. Hell, I think sometimes she would just post it without really tracing anything. I mean, this Shy Lily drawing is crazy, bro. Like, there's no way she actually drew that when she was drawing things like this barely a year before.
Yeah.
But overall, of course, the biggest reason for this document having been made is because she was charging people money, both on Patreon and VGen, all while promising human-made art. This is not the case here at all. But Ruru wasn't done yet. On February 19th, just a day after that initial
She's
doc had
tearing her
dropped, they
apart.
would reply to their quote tweet and say, after this doc, some people reached out to me to tell their experiences with Gami, including ghosting, hosting raffles but not drawing the winner, etc. Read here. This leads us to the second.
Dude, can I just say something that's gonna sound so fucking like mean or something? But I think if she didn't do all those things, nobody would care. I'm gonna say it. The Gooners don't fucking care where the material comes from. If she didn't do all that nasty shit, like not getting, you know, the art raffle done and like the fucking communicating with people, not being honest with them, like, I don't know, man. Again, at the end of the day, we buy phones that are made by kids in Vietnam and in China. I don't know, man. It's all fucked, man. The world is fucked. I think AI is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. Your favorite fucking game uses fucking AI, man, to some degree.
Google Doc, in which people who actually
They just
hired
don't
her
tell
or
you.
worked with her
They're not-
exposed
they don't
the
meant
terrible
to tell you.
client-to-vendor relationships that they experienced, starting with
They're
the first
entitled
section,
to it,
rushed commission,
sadly.
followed by ghosting. VTuber Mochi Mochi have commissioned Gami on VGen after seeing her commission for another VTuber in September 2024. Mochi wanted a similar styled commission from her and commissioned Gami,
Yep.
but the piece she received didn't look similar in style to what she
Happened
asked
to
for
me.
and
That
seemed
sucked.
rushed. So she was asking for something that looked like this, right? The drawing on the left, something with
Yo,
that same
Sino, do the
style and type
raid!
of rendering.
Thank you so
What she got
much.
on the right.
Sorry, I
mean,
missed it.
Can you even call this a sketch? Like, this is incomplete as fuck.
Wow. What the frick? Bro. It's not even finished rendering. What the frick? That's such a scam. Yeah, like the lighting on the hair isn't even done.
As fuck. It also barely looks anything like Mochi's character. Mochi even
Oh my god, she's kind of lazy, like low-key. She's actually a lazy tracer too. Like she could be making money off of it, but she just was like, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do this.
bothered sketching what she wanted, how she wanted her character to look with her ears down. But this doesn't look like that at all. It looks like some sort of weird beanie. This is when Mochi would message Gami on VGen, saying, I have a question about my surprise delivery. I ordered it based off the image I saw posted on your Twitter. When I went to see mine today, I was very unhappy about the quality. Is there a reason why the two photos are both so different in quality? I also noticed her bottom right thigh forgot to be colored and right below her thigh bracelet. And yes, that's true. I mean, this.
Oh my god, this is not even like line art. It's a sketch.
Dude, Gami would reply with, she had a very filled up design. That is why I had to pay more attention. My personal opinion is that I shaded yours more, but if you are unhappy with it, I can retouch on it later this week. This is when Mochi would say, I'm sorry, but I feel like this piece was rushed and not treated with the same care. I circled the part of the thigh where it is missing color. It's just white. The Mochi and the ears also feel rushed. You can say you should.
The ears aren't even separated from the hair. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Look, if you're gonna fucking scam and fake it, like at least make it believable, man.
Mine more, but the thighs are not shaded at all.
Terrible work ethic.
I'm just a bit upset because I was really looking forward to this piece. Thank you for offering to retouch it. I really appreciate it.
Even if she was really good at art, I can see how she could have problems even like having a decent work ethic, and that pisses me off the most. There are a lot of amazing artists I've worked with or like even gotten my commissions before I became a VTuber who have amazing art, but then they like post on Twitter about how they're busy or they're freaking sick or like, oh no, it's the Christmas time. I'm just feeling so bad, you guys. Sorry for taking so long. Oh no. And I'm like, but you're posting like every day. Can you update me on my work, please? I know I'm not like trying to slave drive you, and I know it's taking you 6 months, but I don't want to be a dick either. It's like you have to tiptoe the line where it's like you're asking for a product that you paid for without coming across like a prick. And it's like you paid money, but you also don't want to be like, you know, like, fucking give me my fucking piece of artwork. I paid money for this. You don't want to be mean to them.
The document will continue.
There's gotta be like a better way.
Gami ghosted Mochi and the commission review period ended on VGen. Mochi didn't receive
Don't pay first. I mean, I'm not even gonna get into it. I think half and half is also okay, but at the end of the day, it's up to the person.
Touch-ups as
it's the
promised
nature
or any
of
updates. Mochi left a 1-star review. The document would also
Unfortunately.
prove that Mochi actually paid for this commission. $45 for an incomplete sketch that doesn't even look passable. But I wish that's where it ended, because the next section features a giveaway winner that didn't get their art. The document would say, Gami and a couple of other artists had made a studio called Mellow Studio back in 2023, June. Gami was drawing, someone else was rigging the art, and they were offering VTuber assets, models, etc. Around January 2024, they created a chibi VTuber called Mellow Chibi. With Gami's suggestion, they have made an art plus rig raffle for these chibi models to boost up their new product. Raffle was held on the 7th of January 2024. The winner didn't get their model for 10 months.
Yeah!
So they decided to...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about! And then you can't say anything because you'll be looked at as a dick. It's like, you got this art for free!
The winner ended up not getting their art. After 1 year, they also didn't even get a reply from Gami. The rigger was very upset at Gami for not providing the art since it was a collab raffle. So they stopped
and it all makes them look bad too.
With Gami.
That's what sucks.
Mellow Studio became inactive. The rigger also reached out to the winner. So here we can see the DMs between the winner and Gami. They reached out in October after 10 months, and they were very polite, by the way. Hey, it's been a little bit, and I was wondering if this was still happening. If not, it's okay. I just wanted to know. Smiley face. Gami would say, it will be happening. Yes, I have you in my calendar. I have picked back school.
I am so blessed that I haven't been fucked over like that often. Honestly, it's just a roll of the dice. I would never say this about every artist. It's just, it sucks that bad apples can really ruin a clientele to artist relationship. My first model, I almost like didn't even start VTubing. I've told this story many times, but I had an artist that basically was posting on social media saying like, oh, she was doing like Christmas art of famous Final Fantasy characters and Genshin characters. And I was asking for like an update, even though she was like 4 weeks overdue for an update on my model. And I was just sitting there like, I can't do anything. I can't fucking call her out. I don't have a followership yet either. She took my money, which was several $1,000s, by the way. It was through a I think it was Etsy, or was it VGen? I can't remember. I think I stopped using it because I was so pissed off. But this was like right at the beginning, and I was like, wow, like you don't even want to give me an update, and you're posting on Twitter like every other day about like, you know, your art. And it wasn't like she was reposting art that was old and like reflagging it on our social media. It was like brand new art. I even checked because I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I was so mad. And she kept making up excuses and saying like, oh, well, I'm sick and it's like the holidays. By the way, chat, never order around Christmas time. Never do that unless you know what you're fucking getting into and you trust that fucking artist. I don't know what it is, but every time I order from an artist around about Christmas time, they always tell me like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm like, I understand. I totally get it. And I understand you have to account for that. But at the same time, it's fucking February. Please give me an update. You can't use the like, oh, I'm tired from the holidays excuse. It's been 2 months. It's been 2 months since Christmas. Please just do something for me, please.
I've been quite busy. The winner would say, oh, that's okay. Take your time.
I've never had issues with Akagi or Amy, by the way. Like, they're amazing artists, and I so totally appreciate them for them. My model and my rigger, they're amazing. It's just a few bad apples. It's the toss-up and the roll of the dice that you have to deal with when you interact with the art community, or any community for that matter.
I was just curious. Thank you so much. 5 months later, in March 2025, the winner would reach out again saying, hello, I just wanted to check in.
Hello.
I in no way want to bother you. I'm just curious
so
about when we expect
nice.
to get started. I recently had a design update, so I just wanted to check in. Again, no rush at all. I know you said I was on your calendar. I'm just curious. So obviously, very unprofessional and unacceptable. And as the document would say, the rigger would end up reaching out to the winner on Twitter saying, yo, Gami hasn't even started drawing your model. I reached out a couple times. She doesn't seem to really care. So instead, I'll draw it and rig it. The rigger would cut all contact with Gami, but Gami would then go ahead and continue hosting raffles anyway.
This is what I mean. Oh my god. Still hosting raffles and saying shit like, I'm drawing for free, or even better, followers get a raffle ticket, and then they never get their art.
Is crazy. Like how shameless.
By the way, not that you're entitled to it, it's just that you shouldn't take on work that you don't want to do. People will feel cheated, and it will come to the surface that you are just being a dick, that you're just using people.
Can you get? We would then see Gami's commission queue for VGen. This is her queue for paid commissions, right? I pay her money, she puts it in her queue, and this is where I can see the progress. There are commissions that have been there since October 2023 that she hasn't even begun to work on. Oh my god, this just keeps getting worse. The next section would have yet another unsatisfied customer paying over $1,000 just to get this VTuber model in 3 different outfits.
What?
On the third outfit, the client asked for thigh-high socks, and this is what they got. Some sort of a weird gradient, as if the model had like put her feet in some very hot water in a cartoon or something. It looks
yeah,
weird.
It kind of looks
and
like
finally,
it's blushing.
just as you've been telling yourself, no, this can't get worse, right? She can't get more shameless than this. Well, the section's called Undelivered Models.
Oh,
During October 2024, Gami launched a project under their studio called Fawn Studio. How many studios did she make, man? This is a studio that makes VTuber models and Gami is the artist. The project was called Fruit Gals, and it was an audition-based VTuber model giveaway with some rules. So look, this was structured in a way to resemble VTuber agencies where you audition, and if you're accepted, you get a VTuber model. You wouldn't get a salary, but you'd keep all your donations, and you'd be part of a group. But if you decide to leave, you obviously can't keep the model. It's owned by the studio. One of the girls that auditioned and got accepted would reach out to Ruru and would talk about how she and the other girls were completely and entirely misled. So essentially, Gami would be posting these updates, right, of these different models that she was drawing up, and they were very excited. But then at some point, the updates would just stop, and Gami would stop communicating consistently, leaving all the members in the dark for months. Here we can see one of the girls deciding to reach out to raise her concerns on
Holy
behalf of everyone else in the
essay.
group, saying, "Hey Gami, I'm sending this message on behalf of me and the girls, and I would like to say that we are all tired of unresponsiveness, lack of communication, broken promises, and lack of care." It was actually a very
Ooh.
considerate message, with this person even saying, "I hope what you take out of this will be, don't bite off more than you can chew." It genuinely came from a
True.
good place, but more importantly, one thing she would say is, "We'd have understood if the models had taken a month to finish, but it has now been 8 months." The document would specify the reason why they're saying we would have understood if the models had taken a month to finish, but it has now been 8 months, is because Fawn Studio had posted that they can finish and deliver models in around a week.
That's
That
kind
is
of
insane,
that's
by
insane.
the way. Okay, if you want a custom draw,
Yeah, like fucking Akagi takes like what, 2-3 months to draw? And granted, he's working on other stuff too, but like that he has an insane turnover rate for his work. His work ethic is insane.
model that is rigged and
It's
ready to
crazy
go,
good.
you need months, man. There's
A
no one in the
week is
world that can do this in
fucking
a
crazy.
week. After this message, both Gami and the rigger involved with the studio would respond.
straight and
They would both
plausible. No,
somewhat
it's
say the
just
same
not
thing, so let's just
feasible.
read what Gami had to say.
Even if you're working on it solely, like that sounds impossible. Like just based off of like how many times I've looked at other people's work ethic. Yeah, I'm talking about people who actually like work really, really hard and they're not gonna ghost you and like get overwhelmed. Like they know what they're doing. A week is impossible. You just can't.
I apologize for the lack of
Even
communication
for a
on my
cute
end.
little
I'm
chibi
very
model, like
overworked,
it,
and I
it
do my
takes a
best in
lot.
keeping up with everything. Art is my only income, so I have to keep working most of the time. That being said, I have finished 3 of the models and already have sent them over to blank, which is the rigger. I'm not blaming her in this, since she also has her own commissions that she has to work on.
Yeah.
Please do keep in mind that Fruit Gals is a passion project on my end. I do not gain anything from making you models. I understand you, I really do, but I'm booked until September and I'm drawing constantly. For the last model also, I have started drawing her. I don't usually have the time to just sit down for days and work only on one thing, since I have commissions that hit me constantly. I was hoping to finish her later this month since I'm done with my year for school. Nobody lied about anything. I told you guys from the start that I would do my best, and I'm doing so. I still am sorry that you guys felt not cared for. I never wanted this. All I wanted was to be able to help you guys grow and make
Okay,
content the way you guys
yeah.
wish to make. The document would then say, but after this, again, there were no updates. A couple months later, on August 1st, 2025, we'd see 2 messages from both girls separately saying, "Hey, I'm out. Okay, this is clearly not happening. I don't want to do this
They're
anymore." And Gami
scattering.
wouldn't even bother replying.
They're
So look, by now, this wasn't
scattering.
just about AI anymore. This was about Gami being a
Yeah,
bad
she's just
person to work with.
she's bad
Very
at work
badly treating
ethic.
some of her clients and having this habit of empty promises, of doing these giveaways that she never honored. At this point, she was officially a compulsive liar in the eyes of the community. There was nothing she could say that would make anyone believe her. This is when her viral post saying that maybe I make ugly drawings, but at least I don't use AI would get community noted. And the community note would just straight up say, Gami uses AI for her drawings. Like just straight up, no bullshit. She uses AI. Shut the fuck up. Linking Ruru's initial Twitter post and the first Google document we went through, obliterating her reputation, her career, her online presence in just one sentence. Very few community notes can compare to the savagery here. But of course, you might be wondering, what about Gami herself? Does she have a response? I mean, she clearly saw this. She got community noted very humiliatingly. What did she have to say? And how did it manage to make things worse somehow? Gami would post this on her Twitter on February 20th, 2026. One day after
Wait, I actually think I saw this. I just didn't think of anything of it.
the second Google
Oh
Doc
my god, that is a terrible ratio too. 60,000 views and 189 likes.
had dropped,
Ooh.
saying, I have done a speed paint to address the AI allegations. This was done completely live on Twitch with a full display screen showing my entire process. The link to the VOD is down below. I'm aware of the other things being said and everything will be addressed soon. There's a lot to go over and I want to make sure I address everything. This has been a lot to take in, so I thank you for your patience. The top reply here that almost ratioed her would say, no one is denying you can draw. You draw very well. The thing is, none of this is reflected on these. And it's scummy to say you are against AI when admitting to have been making drawings very heavily AI referenced.
Oof.
Just say in your profile you use AI as part of your process. Additionally, even during her stream, it would be clear that she was using AI references to draw the thighs. You can see this right here. This was on her own monitor. It didn't help. If anything, it only made things worse. Facing
Just
even
been
more
honest.
backlash after
You'd
that.
still get shit, obviously, for saying that you use AI, but like I feel like it would be dampened at least.
Disastrous stream,
Yeah,
Gami
virtue
would quote
signaling?
tweet
Yeah,
the
for
second
sure.
document that Ruru had written and would say, sorry for the wait, linking her own Google Doc. This would be one of the shortest Google Docs I have
Yeah,
seen in my
super-
life. It could have
people
very
don't like
easily been a tweet,
hypocrites.
but she would say, I'm sorry for taking this long to address all of this. I had some time to myself and had to calm down before I made a statement on the matters at hand. I would like to start by apologizing
Bam.
to all my clients that feel wronged by me using AI as reference for their artworks. I'll be transparent in my art processes going forward and have clear communication with my clients to make sure they're satisfied with the commissions they will be getting. If any of my current ongoing commissions that have paid for their commissions want their funds refunded, I'll be refunding your funds. Also, if any of my commissioners want their progress recorded for full transparency, if it means they will feel more secure about their commission, that's where the sentence ends. That's literally where the sentence ends. Like there's literally a fucking period at the end. Okay, well, English is not her first language, but hey, at least we can be sure she didn't use ChatGPT, okay? She actually wrote this herself. She would then say in parentheses, I will also be posting them on YouTube as an unlisted playlist, so there will be a record of all the work I will be doing. This is not an excuse. I've been really busy with real life stuff in school, and some of my work has been rushed because of this. I've been very irresponsible with my scheduling and will be getting help on my scheduling moving forward. I'm also thankful for people who have patiently waited for their commissions. I'm sorry it took as long as it did for me to get them done. I'm sorry for disappointing everyone, and I promise to do better moving forward. So look, not only was this response grammatically a disaster, it was a disaster in and of itself. It didn't address anything. It was very vague, and I mean, you don't have to listen to me say this. Ruru said it themselves, replying to her post, ratioing her, and saying,
Her old
you didn't address the
friend.
raffle winner or the past clients who purchased AI-assisted work without knowing. If rebuilding trust is the goal, taking full accountability is the first step to do that. I believe those situations should be acknowledged and refunded properly as well. That's a very good point. What about the raffle winners? What about the people that you gave empty promises to? What's ironic here is that she wasn't quote tweeting the first document, she was quote tweeting the other document that talks about her terrible communication with clients, with the raffle winners. I mean, honestly, at this point, deleting your account would have been better than putting this Google Doc out to the public. Like, what the hell is this? 100,000 views and barely any interaction. People were done with this. They had already made up their minds. The proof was there,
Told
and
you,
there was
really
nothing she
terrible
could
ratio.
do except take accountability, and she failed to do even that. On the original quote tweet that Ruru had made, with the initial document exposing Gami, you'd see many people in the replies pretty much disowning her, right? They might have come across her fan art, they might have liked it before, they might have interacted with her, but now this was over. This is not someone they wanted anything to do with. After this whole debacle, Gami would continue posting on her Twitter. And yes, it does seem like she's not using AI. It does seem like it was, drawn actually by her, but the trust is lost. No accountability means no forgiveness. And it's going to be very hard for her to build back up what she already had. This is especially considering that her VGen got suspended. She can't take commissions anymore, and she's essentially lost the fan base that she had taken years to build. Look, I can't predict the future. I don't know where we'll be.
You can still get commissions even if you don't have a VGen. Yeah, like you can. People don't need one, but yeah.
Years from now. And I don't know whether there will be a day where society will actually accept AI as a whole. However, if you want to use AI as
People didn't accept factory-made shit at first, and then people realized it was convenient. Yeah, at the end of the day, people just want a product. I know, I'm not trying to devalue actual artists too, by the way. I'm just saying that's where it's inevitably heading, unfortunately.
reference, or hell, as very heavy inspiration.
Or they don't disclose it, and you'll never know, because AI will get that good. Yeah, you'll never know as a fucking, as a customer. People still don't accept factory shit when they want quality. I'll tell you a really funny story. I was trying to buy a couch off of a cheap furniture place, and it was like, I don't know, like a couple $100s. And during COVID, they shifted the factory over from Vietnam to China in order to accommodate like COVID restrictions and also to make it cheaper. And I totally agree that, like, how do I explain it? I agree that, like, I hate that it was slop and that piece of shit couch, like, ended up serving me for, like, maybe, like, a year or two when it should have been far more, in my opinion. It's like, it slowly fell apart. It was made out of plywood, essentially, like, and then it's covered in, like, plush or, like, fabric. And I was super pissed about it, but like at the end of the day, I didn't have another option, and that's where it becomes a problem. You don't have the option to have good American quality made goods, like anywhere. Everything is outsourced, and that's where capitalism and essentially factories are going. Like AI will eventually take over to the point where you won't be able to have another option, and it'll be very difficult to find a good option. Yeah, like I was willing to pay more, but I couldn't find a store that didn't have made in China. Yeah.
Your art, at least specify
It
that.
sucks.
At least be honest about that. If someone's willing to
Yeah, I
pay
would
for that,
replace
then
Alana.
hey, good
Yeah,
on them. It's their
probably
money.
at
They can do whatever
one
they
point.
want with it. But don't pretend.
I mean, like, I don't want to be miserable or anything, but like, at the end of the day, I think someone could very well take my personality and just like fucking put it in somewhere. I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Yeah, like, what if I die or something? Yeah, and someone really, really wants SmugAlana. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm dead. Like, you take my personality, and you maybe you make SmugAlana or something.
To be someone you're not, because that's just what a scammer
It can
does.
happen,
and you don't want
chat.
to be labeled as a scammer, because if you
Maybe
are,
she'll be even
you end up
funnier.
like thank you so much for watching until the end. If you want to see actual amazing art that is not AI assisted in any way, featuring my character as well as exclusive videos posted every month, then make sure to check out my Stacked page. Link in the description and the pinned comment. Prices start at $1. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is, and I love you so much.
Mwah!
Platonically. Take care. Mwah.
Thanks. Ew, imagine being an AI using loser. Anyway, here's a prompt to generate a big booty puppy girl. Yeah, if she wasn't so staunchly anti-AI and virtue signaling, I don't think she would have nearly gotten as much shit. Yeah. Hi, a lot of you watching a lot of your videos on YouTube. I did enjoy content coming to kids stream. I wanted to say it's awesome how you refuse to censor yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming to hang out. Self-inflicted. Again, she would have obviously still gotten shit, but it wouldn't have nearly gotten as bad. Yeah, like the fucking Twitter post community note is so funny.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like this part. Gami uses AI for drawings on an anti-AI art post. Like, oh my gosh. And it makes people think, by the way, this ends up hurting people who actually hate AI, right? And they go out of their way to like produce work and produce it well. This hurts people and makes them second guess, like, is this person virtue signaling, or are they hiding something? Yeah, like, absolutely. I think it hurts the narrative. Yeah. Anyway, go check them out. That was Mujin video, very, very good. Fantastic video.
Fire, 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 fire.